This is a video by Richmond. Today we are working on a old VW Beetle, one of the air-cooled models. This one happens to be mine, which is a 1956 vintage. And I had one of my viewers that has a bug, and they wanted to know, they asked me the question, Rich, how do you put a tachometer? I like the one that you have in there. How did you put that in there? So I'm going to show you today how I put that tachometer in the bug. Now to start off with, this is a 5-inch Sport Comp Monster Tack from Autometer. Who knows if they even have this anymore. I put this in, geez, a long time ago. What's the model on that? It's 3980, if you're interested. Alright, now, comes with that little bracket right there on the dash. And of course I had to drill a hole, put a grommet for the wire, and then I had to drill 2 holes for the mounting bracket right there. And of course in the bug there's not too much room, so you can see that we're almost over here on the passenger side of the vehicle. See where they mount the key on these old 50 vintage ones? Over here on the right side. It's almost directly below the key. Alright, so that's the mounting of the tack. Now let's go in the trunk and find out where those wires went. Here is the wire that comes up into the trunk area. Those are the 2 mounting bolts for the tack. And that red wire, I believe, is for the tack, is a keyed wire. There's a total of 3 from the tack, I believe. That red one powers the tack, and then we have a wire that goes to the lighting circuit to light the light in it, and one back to the coil. And those 2 wires come over here to the fuse box, and the 3rd one over is the fuse that controls the lighting circuit. So that takes care of those 2 wires. Now the 3rd wire goes back to the coil, and that wire is hidden down in this wire loom right here. Comes back here. And goes right down there to the firewall underneath the gas tank. So let's go underneath there and see where it goes next. Here is the wire that comes next to the firewall from the trunk area. This is the gas tank right above me. This is not really the firewall. The firewall would be back where the engine is. This is called the front bulkhead. So it runs along there. There is the fuel shut off. And it goes over there, and I will go on the other side and show you where it goes next. Now the wire on the other side comes over here, comes down, and it goes through the choke tube. This choke tube goes right through, all the way through the tunnel, and it comes out by the transaxle. If you have a later one, you won't have a choke tube, but it's a possibility you could run it through where the fuel line possibly goes through the tunnel, all the way to the back. But this was a no-brainer because I'm not using the choke. So that wire to the coil goes through that tube all the way to the back. Now the wire comes out of the tube, runs along the frame. It's this black wire right here. Comes up to the fuel line. It comes out of the frame. Up the rubber fuel line right here. And right back to the engine. Here is the wire coming through the rear tin and along the fuel line, and it comes up in back of the fuel line right up to the coil. That is the negative side of the coil, right next to the green wire that goes down to the condenser of the distributor. That wire took a long ways to get here. So that's all there is to installing a tachometer in your early Beetle.